This is Jerry Schaefer from 94.3 The Shark. Everything that rocks, and I'm joined now via the telephone from somebody who I wanted to talk to for a while. You'll know the last name, too, because it has a lot of famous names attached to it. It's Will Johns from the Cream of Clapton band. Hey, Will, how are you?
Hey, Jerry, I'm really good. Thank you for having me on.
Oh, well, thank you for doing it. So I mentioned to our audience that your last name, most of our audience, the active rockers, the classic rockers, they go back, quite a ways. And Andy Johns and your dad and your uncle, Glenn Johns, names that I've been reading about in Rolling Stone magazine since I was a little kid because they were such an iconic presence in the rock and roll scene, especially from the UK.
Yeah, they've been around for a minute or two, haven't they? And worked on such an amazing, vast catalogue of popular music that we all know and love. You know, everything from the Beatles through the Stones, Eric Clapton, and just too many to even list, really.
Yes. Now, your dad was involved with producing and working on my favorite album of all time, and that's Exile on Main Street. So, you mentioned a lot of them, but that's just one. It's hard to pin down to one, but I think that's the one from me. And, of course, I love all those other bands that you mentioned growing up with them, especially your uncle, Eric Clapton, who in your bio said that he taught you your first guitar riff. No pressure there, right, playing guitar?
Yeah, that's right. He definitely put me on the path, and so I've been doing my best with that introduction.
Well, it sounds like you're doing okay. Let's talk about the band, the Cream of Clapton band, because you'll be playing at the Paramount in Huntington tomorrow night, and it's going to be a lot of fun because I've been seeing this one on the calendar for quite a while. I've had it circled, so I'm glad it's finally here. I'll be down there broadcasting live from the studio at the Paramount like we always do on Thursday, Friday, and Saturday night. So talk about the band and how that came about. Yeah, you have some other people in the band who are related to some other famous people in rock and roll.
That's right. Well, we've got Noah East on keyboards and B3, Hammond organ. He's an absolutely amazing player, as well as being a wonderful guy. And he's the son of Nathan East, who is, of course, Eric's longtime bass player.
Yes.
We've also got Steve Ferroni, who was in Eric's band between 1986 and 1992, throughout the period of the 24 nights, and that's really the era that we are drawing, our inspiration from.
Yes.
We'll be playing, of course, a bunch of Cream songs. One of my particular favorites, of course, is Crossroads, which, like you mentioned, Eric showed me the first opening riff. And I was like, okay, I've got that. How's the next bit go? And he was like, you got to figure that bit out for yourself. And that kind of stood me in good stead.
Yes.
And, so for figuring out, I taught myself basically how to play by playing all the wrong notes. So by default, I played all the wrong notes. So hopefully I hit a few of the right ones now.
Yes. I think it's just trial and error right after a while. Although you mentioned Crossroads, the old Robert Johnson tune, I'm a big blues guy. And I think when it comes to the blues, there really are no wrong notes, right? It's just about a feeling and making it your own.
It's all a feeling. That's right. Yeah. And then, of course, there's that great one, Riding with the King.
Yes.
With B.B., who, of course, is, he's my inspiration and has been as well for, quite a number of years. And he has that ability to play one note that gets straight to the center of your heart.
Yes. That's right. That tremolo, right? And that's just this iconic B.B. King.
Yeah.
So you mentioned Noah East, Nathan's son, and I know Nathan's been with your uncle forever, as far as I remember. And he seems like I haven't had a chance I've had a chance to interview a lot of great players, B.B. King being one of them you mentioned, and Mick Fleetwood, who I know you consider an uncle, but never had a chance to interview your uncle or anybody from his band. But Nathan East just seems like such a sweet man, and obviously such a great bass player.
He is both of those things. He is not only a great bass player who's played on so many amazing tracks, but he really is also just a great guy, and it's such an honor for me to be working with both Nathan and Noah, and Steve, and also on bass, we have Julia Hoffa. It really is, just an exceptional band of great people, great players, and it seems that the audiences are really lapping it up too. The whole vibe is completely contagious, and we're having a great time.
Now, you mentioned 24 nights as like the period that you're focusing on. Now that's quite a bit of music too to think about. When you do a set list like for tomorrow night at the Paramount, and then you guys go down to New Jersey after that, now to Indiana later. How do you work on the set list, and how do you come up with that? Is it kind of pre-planned well in advance, or does it kind of change as it gets closer to the show based on how things are feeling?
It is pretty I mean, there's such a huge catalogue of songs that we could draw from, and of course, we only have kind of 2 hours or just under to perform all of that stuff. A lot of the music as well is improvised, and improvised solos from Noah. In fact, I think pretty much everybody has a chance to shine. And there's a solo from everybody at least once or twice in the whole show. So of course it's that provides some contrast and some makes it different every night.
Mm-hmm.
But obviously, as I said, there's such a huge catalogue to draw from. So we are playing some Cream. And then obviously there's some classic Eric Clapton songs that you just couldn't ignore.
Mm-hmm.
We're pretty much playing on this tour anyway. The set is pretty fixed. And Nathan, of course, has a cameo appearance, and he does his beautiful version of "Can't Find My Way Home."
Well, I'll remind our listeners again that I'm talking to Will Johns, who is with the Cream of Clapton band. They're going to be playing the Paramount tomorrow night in Huntington, New York. And as I said earlier, too, I'll be there live broadcasting from right in the studio adjacent to and connected with the founders room of the Paramount. So I hope that you can stop by and say hello tomorrow, Will, because I'd love to meet you in person.
I would love to. That would be great.
Okay. Well,
thank you, Jerry.
No problem. Well, thank you very much for doing this tonight, and I look forward to meeting you and seeing you and talking more tomorrow night at the Paramount in Huntington.
Okay, that's great. And if anybody wants to check out the band online, on the socials, it's the Cream of Clapton Band.com. We're on Instagram and Facebook and all that stuff too. And my website too is willjohns.com.
Okay, and that's JOHNS. And just to remind everybody, thank you for doing that. And I really do look forward to seeing you in person tomorrow night.
Thanks, Jerry. Thanks.